The Walking Dead franchise has been one of the finest zombie apocalypse narratives of all time, and it's not surprising that even after all these years, the fan following remains at an all-time high. One of the most important questions in the minds of the viewer, however, has been the possibility of a potential cure to the zombie outbreak, or finding out how the situation will finally be diffused. The Walking Dead series and the spin-off projects have often left scraps in terms of hints, but there's never been a clear, definitive answer. In this video, we'll look into the newly released The Ones Who Live, and try to decipher a probable hint in the third episode about how the zombie outbreak finally ends.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
What is the true origin of the zombie virus in The Walking Dead? Well, we certainly cannot be discussing a potential cure for the zombie virus without truly understanding its nature and origins. However, the creator of the Walking Dead comic series, Robert Kirkman, promised to never reveal the real source of the virus in order to keep an air of mystery around it. However, we do get bits and pieces of the origin of this virus in the shows and spin-off projects that followed. In The Walking Dead World Beyond, a post-credit scene revealed more about this than anyone had expected. The scene takes the viewer to what looks like an abandoned lab facility, covered in dust, cobwebs, and French graffiti. The graffiti translates to, "The dead were born here." And this eerie setting is interrupted by a scientist who arrives at this lab. She is seen watching an old video in one of the computers, but before she can finish, a gunman interrupts her. Their interaction sheds more light on the actual situation, where it's suggested that the lady was one of the doctors who was hiding all this while. The gunman seems agitated about her role in creating the zombie apocalypse, and a team working with her seems to have made the infection worse. If you consider this to be a credible source and canonical, then the French doctors and scientists were responsible for the virus, which probably spread worse than they anticipated, and they failed to contain it. At the end of the post-credit scene, the scientist is shot in the back, but she comes back as a zombified corpse within seconds, much faster than we usually see. The level of speed and savage intent seen with this walker is also something we haven't seen before. So, is this where it all started? Was the virus being developed to be used in wars? Is there a cure hidden in the experiments conducted while creating this menace? Too many questions clutter our minds, and there are too few answers. How does the zombie apocalypse end in the comics? The Walking Dead comic series offers a lot more closure than the TV shows and spin-off projects. In the comic books, we get to see the fate of Rick Grimes, and also the final state of the post-apocalyptic world. The narrative in the comics suggests that the world has adapted to the new normal, because the undead continue to exist. However, the apocalypse has ended, and the society has become civil again. Rick Grimes plays a key role in bringing about this new civilization with restored law and order. Through his efforts, civilization has managed to stay alive and thrives with time. In this new society, there is safety, and although the zombies are still a threat, they have become a normal part of life. After a time jump of 25 years, the comic book narrative shows the son of Rick, Carl Grimes, interacting with his daughter. The new look of the world suggests that being bitten or infected by a zombie is now as normal as catching a cold. It's something that humanity has learned to deal with, and until it becomes a terrifying threat again, maybe by changing the course of the infection, things are at peace. What the narrative truly tries to highlight in the comic series is that the zombies were never the real threat. The walkers merely acted as a catalyst in unleashing the baser impulses of humans. It brought out the real face of those pushed to the wall, and showed how barbarism took shape from the urge to survive. The climax in the comics is fitting in this regard because it finally goes a full circle and ends in stability. The zombie problem is never resolved in the comics, but the human civilization learns to perfect life under the available circumstances. How does The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live hint at the future of the apocalypse? The newly released Walking Dead spin-off series has focused a lot more on the CRM and its plans than we have seen before. We are already into the third episode of the series, and by now it's been revealed that the CRM has some well-defined plans regarding how to deal with the zombie apocalypse and rebuild the civilization. Previously, the CRM has been known to conduct research on human subjects in order to find a cure, but none of their experiments ever had any conclusive results. Some might even argue that resolving the crisis might reduce their importance in society, and this has led the corrupt leadership of the CRM to consciously keep the cure to this infection at bay. In the third episode of The Ones Who Live, we get insights into the Civic Republic military's detailed plans that they have for the future. During an interaction between Rick Grimes and Jadis, the latter mentions why Rick should not try to leave the confines of the CRM borders. She states that the CRM had a clear path set for 500 years for the new world in the Walking Dead universe. The intricate details of this elaborate plan are not shared in this episode, but it's revealed that the final outcome is going to be a civilization that is entirely remade from scratch. The military organization would also try to eliminate the zombie threat at the same time, which does seem like a near impossible situation at this point. However, the greater goals of the CRM involve creating a complete structure with governing bodies that would create a superior world than what existed before the zombie apocalypse started. Previously, the series The World Beyond explored CRM's efforts in finding a cure for the virus. Their scientists worked relentlessly for years and studied mushrooms and fungi that grow on the zombies to come to the conclusion that the fungi would be the key to eradicating the virus. This version of the cure would involve a process that would break down the decaying flesh of the zombies much faster, and they would be destroyed a lot sooner. It remains to be seen if the CRM would implement this tactic in the new series, but it seems like the only feasible possibility in eliminating the zombies worldwide. With the aerial support that the CRM forces have, it might have a chance to spread across the world if done right. That being said, the final complete solution to this problem would be a lot trickier because every individual in this new world is a carrier of the zombie virus. This is why people turn into the walkers once they're bitten. And even if all zombies are destroyed, even a solitary survivor among the dead could restart the chaos all over again. If the new series or any other future series does come up with a permanent solution for the zombie outbreak, they would have to be a lot more wholesome, and a lot of situations have to be taken into account. Did Fear the Walking Dead introduce a cure for the zombie outbreak? One thing has always been the backbone of every major Walking Dead adaptation, and it's the obsession to find a cure for the undead situation. Fear the Walking Dead, a spin-off series, also explored these possibilities, and the 8th season of the show reveals that a mysterious community known as Padre has been trying everything to find a cure for the infection that spreads following the zombie bites. Previously, a person bitten by a zombie took anything between a few minutes to a few hours to turn into one of them, but repeated experiments seems to have brought about a potential for delaying the process. One of the main characters in the series, June, aka Blue Jay, has experimented at length on various test subjects, and her idea is to expose them to various doses of radiation. She and her team make an invaluable breakthrough, where they're able to slow down the process of zombie infection significantly. With this new treatment, people have survived the inevitable for nearly a week, and June claimed to have stopped one instance of zombie infection entirely. However, in order to do so, an intolerable amount of radiation was required, and it is never going to be a viable cure because the person will not survive. As it turns out, June and her team did not really develop a cure, but simply a process similar to amputation, where the infected tissues would be removed to stop the infection from spreading rapidly. Don't forget to tell us in the comments below about your thoughts on the possible ending of The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live. Can the zombie outbreak finally come to an end, or do you think that the show will keep things on a cliffhanger in this regard?
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.